special segment 5. Civil Discourse Now. I'm Mark.
It's a bonus, Mark.
It's a bonus.
And I'm Paul Ogden, and this is our bonus segment.
This is September 1st,
It's like an encore presentation. I'm sorry, I keep interrupting.
I know you do.
All right, go ahead.
This is September 1st, 2012, you pig. We are coming to you from the Road Dog Saloon. See, that was civil. I called you a pig.
Yeah, that was.
At 4861 Southeastern Avenue in Indianapolis. Our guests are Rupert Boneham, who's candidate for governor of the state of Indiana for the Libertarian Party, and Brad Klopfenstein, who is candidate for lieutenant governor of the Libertarian Party. Question I had after we got done with our fourth segment.
Right.
We can talk generally about other things in terms of politics and what it's like to run for office. Why should people vote for you when they might view their vote as being wasted because either the Republican or the Democrat is running as a major party candidate, and one of them is gonna win, and if they vote for you, they're tossing their vote away?
You know, and I know both of us want to talk about this one. We both do. You start out. You go ahead.
I would first say you only get one vote for every office on the ballot, and casting a vote for any candidate who does not represent your views is a wasted vote. Right.
And this isn't like a game where it's like, well, I want to make sure I vote for the winner because, well, yeah, okay, so like it's like the pool in the office for the NCAA.
Mark, seriously, this year in particular, what if you vote for the Libertarian candidate? What might happen? We're going to have long-term high unemployment. The economy's going to be in the crapper. We're already there.
No, you know, honestly, being able to show that everyone's vote counts. You're not throwing a vote away. We're not taking votes away from anybody. We are out there earning votes. We're not trying to buy votes. We're out there campaigning.
Well, you're
every day earning votes. We don't have the money to buy votes.
Yes, we are earning every vote and then some.
We are able to go out there and show that, you know, casting a vote for the Libertarian Party, specifically for Brad and I, for governor of Indiana, is showing that we're the only one of the three standing up in the ACA and the Affordable Care Act, speaking about the issues and giving true solutions. You know, it's been said in the paper even. We're the ones that are trying to still deal with issues while everyone else is bickering amongst themselves. I like being able to be that party that can stand up and give true answers. We are the Libertarian Party that is out for all of us. You know, giving a vote to us in the race for governor is helping me, like I've told so many young men and women, so many middle-aged, my age, so many of us, my parents' age, a little older. Giving that vote in November, on November 6th, is helping us change the darn world, change the way we are running our system, our government, our community in Indiana.
Why don't you have people work in the polls? I mean, individual poll workers at precincts.
Oh, we do. We will. We're gathering our
I believe he's
group.
talking about the Libertarian Party.
Yeah, because like when I go in to vote,
We have representation in the.
but I mean, in every precinct, I think I'd make a big. And I'm not talking here
Well,
in
and
partisan terms, advocating your party. But I'm saying there are certain things that the major parties do that you guys are not precluded from by statute. And let me explain. Viewers out there might not realize it, but there are statutory provisions that limit parties. If you're a major party,
limit parties' access into the polls, and
Yeah.
into the.
yeah, and if you're a major party,
Right.
one of the two major parties, you get certain advantages, and if you're not, there are disadvantages. But one thing is, if I walk into that precinct, the one thing that I always find is a pain in the ass is somebody standing there handing out literature when I already know what I'm going to do in terms of my votes. But the other thing is, when they're there, I know that there's a presence there. It's kind of like this weird contradictory thing. I know that they're there. And there's never anybody there from the Libertarian Party standing there saying, even if they said, Libertarian Party, glad to see you here.
Mark, let me tell you, this goes back to something we talked about in a previous segment. Some of it is the two incumbent parties, everything has a duopoly in government. And, you know, you have, a lot of times you have Republicans that are appointed to something, Democrats appointed to something, and there's twins in any office. Well, if you notice, government shuts down on election day. And that frees up literally thousands of workers that they have who, by Constitution, do not have to go to work that day. Libertarians have jobs.
We are looking for those thousands of people that can take that day off and come out and volunteer. We need thousands of volunteers. And we're signing up hundreds. We've registered hundreds of new voters.
Get that out there. If you really want to and you're not...
Make that difference. If you want to help us really change the system.
That would be...
RupertForGovernor.com.
I hadn't thought
Rupert,
about that,
you both of you have been traveling the state. I assume when you travel, Brad drives and you're in the back seat and you're saying, tell him where to go.
Oh, we don't even, we're trying to talk to thousands of people. I want to really be in front, both of us be in front of millions of people.
And what
We're
issues are you
splitting our
hearing
time up.
What issues are you hearing out there? Because Indianapolis
The
is
economy,
obviously
jobs,
not the only
education,
city. But
schools.
you go to my hometown, Madison, Indiana.
Right.
What are those issues down there?
Southern Indiana, agriculture. Southern Indiana, the coal. And the now gas fields that they're talking about fracking our coal fields to retrieve the gas. But we're doling that out to companies outside of Indiana. We're not hiring that out to companies in Indiana. We're not giving that, and we're not really understanding what we're doing to our water tables.
No, we don't.
Because we've got companies coming from outside Indiana that don't really care.
Here's another thing. I drive north on I-65 to go to Chicago, to Merrillville, to Lake County. And there's this huge wind farm.
Right?
Huge. I check it out. It's owned by a Belgian-Canadian consortium. Why?
You know, not encouraging Indiana products. That's what we're talking about. The way we bring Indiana products out, the way we build Indiana is by using Indiana products. We've never seen that value so much as we need now to incorporate. If we could start generating those smaller, and I talk about them, the mini smelting companies, smelting steel mills out of some of these abandoned properties. The land's already pretty toxic, and we're spending millions, billions of dollars trying to clean up land. Why don't we just go back and put in another steel mill there, a smaller steel mill that's just generating steel for, our wind farms right there, and then teach our own people how to put them together, how to work the things, and farm that out to an Indiana company, not a Belgian company.
Yeah, but the electricity then isn't even staying here. They sell it on the grid.
Of course, we need to create, that's another thing with I'm not crazy about electric cars right now, but one of the things that electric cars generate are a lot of electric batteries. And using those batteries to then generate some giant grids here in Indiana that we keep, that people from around across the country might start shipping here, that we create giant battery mills of power that we're using for Indiana. We've got to figure out how to keep generating cheap power for Indiana. I like coal in southern Indiana. I like steel in northern Indiana. Northern, central, southern Indiana. And we've already, we've talked about in the 40s, one of the largest producers of hemp was Indiana.
I know, that's why
it's a $200 billion a year industry that is not even represented in the United States because our federal government has made it illegal.
Right.
Okay, I think the music means we're getting booted off the air, but...
No, it doesn't work like radio.
Here's
that's why I get closer to the mic.
No, I would just point out, Belgium taking over the wind farms here. Belgium has taken over Anheuser-Busch beer. I think we're seeing Belgians just about everybody. The whole thing is just, I think it's questionable.
It's a Belgian conspiracy.
However,
they have waffles too, I believe.
I love their waffles. I will say, though, as the head of Indiana's economic development after January 1st, I don't want to discourage outside investment in the state of Indiana.
Even from Belgium?
Even from Belgium.
Exactly right. I'm talking about if with our programs, we have to be able to teach our young men and women coming out of the detention centers, coming out of schools, coming back from war, different skills. If we're generating a workforce first that starts working for others, putting these windmills up, I know Hoosier ingenuity will create a way that we start building the darn things on our own.
What about kids who are wanting to go to college can't afford it here, and we have state universities here that used to be quite affordable, and they're expensive as hell.
Creating a new way where in the 21st century we're using some more of the electronic schools, bringing some more electronic books, bringing some more new ways to show how we can teach larger masses at the same time still being able to give a one-to-one, sense to our students and having them have that ability to interact with a teacher.
And Indiana historically has not had community schools, not
community colleges.
Community colleges, thank you. IU, Purdue can have a lot of power at the legislature. They said, we don't need community colleges. We can set up satellites around. Extensions.
It's called extensions.
But they're also very expensive, and that's one of the problems.
They didn't used to be. I took courses at IU Kokomo when I was in high school. That
was back in the 50s, Mark.
It was not.
That was back in the 70s when my father was teaching out at IU at Kokomo. For 30 years, he taught geology out at IU at Kokomo.
I didn't know that.
Being able to show that, back in those days, it was affordable, and we had some outrageous plans for our state employees that were the teachers and the workers there in the university. The value wasn't put so much on the dollar, it was put more on the student.
Today, you've got I know Purdue University is going to have a president up there, a new president inaugurated, and he has a disastrous record in terms of budgets. I mean, he was key
I would refute that. But
he was key on the George W. Bush budgets.
Well, the Indiana budgets, I've been very happy with.
The Indiana
We've
budgets,
done okay.
Yeah, I think we've done okay.
That's because of the toll road.
There's a lot of reasons why, and we're doing a lot better than our neighbors, but we could do so much better. There are so many things. It is interesting, and Brad, I don't know if you want to talk any on the education side of our present governor going over to Purdue. That'll be something that we'll just kind of watch. I'm hoping that the research that Purdue is doing still has some value, because we're talking as a state about some of the research programs that they've got, really encouraging and empowering them to show how we're going to spread that through the state.
Oh, and they have a lot of R&D programs up there. I was on staff at Purdue for 4 years.
Right.
And they also have mediocre football program right now, decent basketball program, but it's great in the summer living there because the produce in West Lafayette and the area around there, you get 12 ears of corn for $1.
Well, like we were talking about earlier, encouraging the family farms and showing family farms how you can, again, make a living on 500 acres. Creating those farmers markets and selling to, generating 50 miles within your radius of where it was grown, showing how we take care of ourselves, empowering Indiana.
Last thing, I don't know where we are on time. What about mass transit?
The libertarians still struggle with mass transit, and I like to show that if we don't create a mass transit system that helps empower our neighborhoods that are needing it the most, we all suffer. Now, we can do a public-private partnership and to build our mass transit, use some alternative fuels, and create a system that will make a profit, and turn that over with a little bit of oversight from the government to make sure it is ran with the mindset of empowerment and not the dollar being the product, but being the byproduct of the program.
Excellent. You talk about public-private partnership.
Oh, we're getting towards
we're at the end.
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Okay.
Being able to show how we put public and private dollars into building something for the community as it goes more private, but we have someone else putting skin in the game. We don't just build it and then give it away like we've done in the past.
Okay, you're making it really difficult for me for this fall on my voting. So,
good. I hope we need to show that the libertarians have some great ideas. We have some great understanding of how to downsize our government, still give us all the services we need and want, and show the same way that I've shown for 20 years. You can take the government out of charity and still empower our youth. You can take the government out of our lives and still give us back our freedoms.
This is Civil Discourse Now.
Any more charity going to
Civil Discourse Now. I'm Mark Saul.
Paul Ogden.
We'll see you next week. Thank you very much.
The music though.
There you go.
Who was the most likely to do the Dean Scream on election night? I say it's Rick Perry.
We're out.